Hey, this is John Layman. I am the writer and letterer of Chew. I'm writing Suicide Squad Kill Arkham Asylum, and I'm writing The Scorched right now. And you are on listening to or watching Splash Pages.
Is the one obvious thing.
Hey, happy Tuesday, everybody. You are watching Splash Pages. My name is Leo. I'm the monkey behind the keyboard here. We have a great show scheduled for you, as always, and an amazing guest. This is going to be an exciting one, as always. And we'll kick it over to Carrie. How's it going?
Hey, doing well. Got Raditosker here. He's got his little bottle of Crown Royal. Backwards. He's having some fun. We're all going to have some fun. We have a great guest, like Leo was saying. I'm super excited. I read more than I was supposed to, which probably comes as no surprise to anybody. And hi,
None.
Tom Dog. Let's hand it over to Drew. See what's going on.
Oh,
I'm not Drew. Oh,
no. It's Jeremy next. Not
I
me.
want to be Jeremy.
Jeremy.
Yes, Jeremy.
Hey, I'm
You threw me off,
Jeremy. It's Tuesday night. Oh my god! And I'm hungry for what we read this week. I actually read a little bit more than we were supposed to read too, but probably not even close to how much Carrie read. I'm assuming Carrie killed the entire series. Am I right?
No, I just read through the first 3 arcs because I didn't want to forget.
Oh, me too.
Yeah.
Okay, so we read the same. Fantastic.
Oh, finally.
Mr. Drew.
Hello, everybody. It's Tuesday. And listen, why not? It's already been a long year. It's only February. Shut up. So, welcome, Splash Pages. We've got some news. We've got some great fun planned story. And also, our guest is, we can just tell this is going to be a great show. If you've been a comic book fan since the 94s, you've seen his work. WildStorm, DC, Marvel, Dark Horse, Image. There's been a ton of stuff. You most definitely know him from his work with Rob Guillory on the award-winning Chew. He's working for some stuff for DC now. There's a lot to talk about. Enjoy. Raise your glasses, everybody. Mr. John Layman.
Hey, everyone.
Hey, John.
Thanks for having me.
Well, thanks for joining us. This is going to be a very fun one. Yeah. So who wants to kick it off?
He was drinking, so I figured I've had a rough week already. So
what are you drinking, Drew?
Well, I'm drinking whiskey because
Great
why
minds
not?
think alike.
There you go. See, and it's even in a whiskey glass. So if I drank anything else, I'd be like, well, I'm lying.
Well, I got a full one because I didn't know how long this would last. So
you're doing great. Welcome to the show.
Okay, now I need to know, both of you, what type of whiskey?
So we go to Costco and we get
Hell yeah.
it's I think it's Bullet, and it's pre-made old fashions. So all I do is stick ice in and the cherries, and I don't have to mix anything.
Oh wow.
Nice.
So it's not it's not straight whiskey.
Right. Mine's Jack Daniels. Just Jack. Big old
Mine's
Jack.
just coffee. Sorry.
Wow, that's fine. And then I'm sorry, Carrie. The little bottle killed me. I was just like, I just can't with this goddamn squirrel. Like,
I thought that was Punxsutawney whiskey.
Oh, he has peanut butter moonshine.
Got
He
too
has
drunk
little
to see
bottles
his
of Maker's
shadow this
Mark,
year.
Jim Beam. Yeah, this squirrel's an alcoholic, but
okay.
you know.
hmm
You know,
Yes.
my grandfather used to be a moonshiner.
That doesn't surprise me.
not
Your entire
surprised.
family tree is a
That's
comic book
insane.
series waiting to happen.
For real.
Did he-
So,
how did
John,
that-
how did you initially get into comics? Like, were you a kid that read?
So okay, I'm old.
Yeah.
I'm pre-internet old. I went to
Yeah.
college and I was an English major because I wanted to write comics. But
Mhm.
in the old days before internet, and I grew up in like a small farm town in California. So there was there were shows in hotel lobbies in like Sacramento, which was an hour away, and then once a year I would go to a and shows were completely different then. I mean, George Perez was sitting in a hotel lobby selling Teen Titan pages for $25 a page, but I was
For
this
real?
like snot-nosed high school kid who wanted to be in comics. So I became a English major. I graduated and I was seeing a girl who lived in San Diego, and she's like, "Oh, things are getting serious. Should we think about moving in together?" And I'm like, "You live where that Comic-Con is, right?" and so I moved to San Diego, and I got a job as like Jimmy Olsen at the San Diego Union Tribune back when there were newspapers, which was literally a copy boy. I handed out mail, and but I also I had kind of the geek beat. Like I freelanced articles, and when like a Judge Dredd movie starring Stallone came out, nobody knew what that was. But I'm like, hey, that's a comic book.
Whoa,
So I'd write a
yeah.
feature article about it. And when Spawn came on HBO, that's a comic book. I'll write an article. And so I started covering the Comic-Con every year.
Nice.
And they're like, it's San Diego's is still kind of had a small town feel, and they're like, well, Jim Lee, he's got the studio in La Jolla. Call him and see what the local trends are. And so after about 3 years of me calling WildStorm and talking to them, they're like, oh, this guy knows his shit. And so they called me up and hired me as an assistant editor, which was a giant step down in pay, and it was just fucking miserable. And I did it for about 3 or 4 months, and I really missed the money. And it like, did I say miserable? It was miserable. The newspaper could not at that point. I was doing like stock charts and like graphs and the weather page and stuff. Like I knew graphics, which is why I'm a letterer now. How I learned lettering. The newspaper called me back, 94 and 95, and they're like, we will give you a monthly comic book column in the San Diego Union Tribune if you come back. And I think I was one of the first people in the country to have a dedicated comic book column. And I had a monthly comic book column.
Did
I
you
told
have a name for it?
Screw, your place sucks. I don't want to be an assistant editor. Went back to the paper, worked there for about a year. WildStorm called me again, and they're like, you know your stuff. We shouldn't have hired you on as an assistant. Come back on as an editor. Come back and have have some actual responsibility. And it's comics. I came back and worked for about 3 years, and then suddenly DC bought us, and then magically I was a DC editor.
Nice.
Yeah, and which you say nice, but in the WildStorm era, you came up to Jim Lee and said, I have a crazy idea. I want to do this. And they're like, Jim Lee snaps his fingers, do it. You go to DC, this stodgy company that's been around for 70 years. I got a crazy idea. We don't do crazy ideas. Write it up in triplicate and, let's have 500 meetings and we'll turn it down.
Wow.
And so I worked for DC for a few more years.
Mm-hmm.
At that point, I had edited about 200 comics and I kind of knew how it was done and I had made friends and, I wanted to be a writer. So then I made the jump to freelance. And, freelance when you're starting out is you take the lowest gigs and you work your way up.
Mm-hmm.
So that is my abbreviated life story.
That's not bad though.
I was born in the wrong time era. I would have killed. Oh, man.
But there's pre-internet. Like now, you can reach me. You can reach anybody, any creator, unless they're a freaking weirdo, on Facebook or Twitter or Blue Sky or whatever. Like
True story.
The interaction, it's harder because there's more people trying to be in comics now than when I was younger. But like you can actually talk to creators. Like you hit a creator on the right day. Hey man, I want to. I got a pitch. Will you read it?
Right.
I don't want to, but I will if you hit me up on the right day. And it's like didn't have that shit when I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's got to make it quite a. Would you recommend getting into comics right now?
I don't
Probably
know,
not,
man.
huh?
Like, well, no. I mean, you're gonna get your heart broken, but there's also
a million
no
times
better
over.
feeling than having you write something and somebody else cares about it. Someone cares about the characters. Like you touch lives. I mean, that's
right.
It's a beautiful feeling. Even if you're only touching 2 or 3 lives, but you will get your heart broke, and most people won't make money.
So what do you think of now that we have the internet going and now that there are the Kickstarters, so the crowdfunding comics, there's been a lot, and some of them are, new indie comic book artists, but there are some really big names out there that are going through crowdfunding.
Oh, yeah. No, I mean,
because apparently they're pitching it and not getting approved, so they're taking it to the people.
It's the marketplace is in a change right now. People don't want to spend $5, on a comic book, and go in and they get a comic book you can read in 10 minutes.
Right.
There's so many books on the market. Like I feel sorry for a retailer because they've got to pick between 500 books a week, and if they get stuck with it, they're fucked. They're broke. Like retailing is the hardest gig in comics.
Preaching the truth there. Yeah.
And the most kind of unrewarding because you gamble badly, you're fucked.
Most of my LCSs are like if you don't work in the like Magic the Gathering and the Pokemon cards and all that stuff, that's where the money is.
Yeah. You can't just be comics. So if you want to reach out direct, like if you're willing to skip the retailers and you have a fan base, like I know that Rob Guillory and I could do like a Chew Kickstarter and kick ass.
Oh yeah.
On the other hand, I'm a lazy man and I don't want to mail shit and I don't want to work, and Image will do everything. And there's a balance. What's the right one? I don't know. There's no right answer.
So speaking of Chew, I've read the whole series, and I absolutely love. Thank you. It's 60, and it's funny because I remember reading it. I was reading it while I was on a show. I was doing a production of Newsies, so I'm a small part. So I'm only at the end. So I'm just sitting backstage reading Chew, and just like, oh, it's my time. All right, I'm gonna put the bookmark in and go on. And someone was like, "What's that about?" And I tried explaining it to them, like, and they did that thing that non-com people are like, "Oh, that sounds nice. That sounds nice." And I'm just like, just go do your thing. So you and Rob, I mean, it's your baby, but like, how did it, like, was there a moment that triggered Chew, like something, or did it come to you gradually?
It was a bunch of different kind of bad ideas, like Saturday Night Live sketches. You know how it's the same joke over and over. It's like, oh, dude, it's the bird flu, and so they're, drug dealers sell eggs. Drug dealers sell chicken wings, or here's a guy who get like. It was about 5 or 6 different ideas, all in like a little notebook, and then I realized, oh wait, they're all food. They're all freaking food related. Take all these ideas and mash them together, and then what became like 6 different dumb individual ideas that couldn't sustain stuff became this like infinite tapestry. And what I didn't realize at the time, or somebody or Vertigo might have published it if I would have freaking pitched it the right way, is food's universal, man. Doesn't matter if you're Chinese, doesn't matter if you're from, Timbuktu. You eat food. You know what a bad meal is. You know what being hungry is. You know what a great meal is. Like, every fucking human on earth can relate to chew. And
absolutely.
I pitched it that way because I pitched it to Vertigo over and over and over. Had I pitched it that way, they would have taken it.
Right.
I'm glad they didn't, because eventually I self-funded it because no one else wanted it. And I'm like, I'm gonna self-fund this book that no one wants to show to editors to get work.
Right.
It's gonna sell. It's gonna be like a cult thing. And then it just freaking blew up. And now, 2020 hindsight, everyone freaking, everyone relates to food, and that's Chew is an international hit. I mean, we're in 12 languages. I mean, Chew keeps selling around the world, and that's part of it, man. Every person on earth can relate.
Yeah,
and it's still sticking with the times. That's the other thing. Like,
I mean, the pandemic shit, like that seemed like sci-fi, and now that's our reality. But when Chew came out, there was like a bovine flu in Germany. And suddenly we got all this press in like Der Spiegel, which is their, Time magazine. And like, there's always a bird flu. There's always a swine flu. There's always COVID. And now it's our reality. But like, it's weird that like pandemics are kind of the Chew kind of comedy pandemic was kind of prescient. I haven't read Chew. I haven't read it since I finished it, but like I certainly haven't read it since COVID, and I wonder how it would resonate now.
To me, it definitely felt like, oh wow, this could have been written yesterday.
Yep.
Jeremy, Carrie, are you guys reading it for the first time?
I've read some of it before. And I kind of fell off because money, as you said, for comic books, it's tough.
Hey, we were $2.99, baby. Don't complain to me.
Hell
yeah. No, you were good. Image. Yeah, you're right.
Well, it's $3.99 now, and sometimes $4.99. But we held the line for as long as we could.
You did. You definitely did. No, I think it's Leo and Carrie's first time. Reading this, and it's so funny, John, because every time. My goal is always to say something, because Leo is the most patient, tolerant person I know. I'm always putting the weirdest stories out because I want to see what he reacts, because I just want him to be like, what the fuck did you just have me read?
Well, Chew is like that. But Chew's also, I mean, one of our advantages, it's a very viral book. And if your girlfriend or your coworker or whoever doesn't read, and I didn't mean to be sexist, your boyfriend, whoever, if someone doesn't read comic books, you hand them Chew, and it's a good kind of gateway drug to what comics can be. It's not a bunch of like, muscle bound or big boob girls in spandex hitting each other. And I mean, part of Chew's success is the viral part, because it does get handed to non-comic book readers.
Yeah.
I find it hilarious that I absolutely loved the book, and but I find it hilarious that chicken is gone over to the black market, yet everything tastes like chicken.
Yeah.
No, so if there are two things I especially love with the series, is in a true hilarious bad comedy sketch, Tony Chu's partner all constantly ending up in bed with somebody.
Oh yeah,
And it's
Right.
the same pose every time.
So, fun fact: part of the
Mm.
contract between Rob and I is I got a page of every arc, and I got to pick the page, and I got every single bed page. And when we did 2 pages per arc, I would pay for them, but I have an art gallery upstairs, and I've got every single bed page.
Oh my
Nice.
No, because I just remember thinking like every time like crossovers, new
We
kid,
did it in
anything.
Revival.
Right.
The-
I remember that. I was just like, it's just him in bed, turned to the side, and the other person just on their back smiling. And I'm just like, oh my God.
Yeah.
It just never fails to crack me up.
The
big part
Thanksgiving
of-
episode when he's just sitting there waiting for him to join him, I'm just like, oh my God, that's so sad.
I mean,
And
a good part of
hysterical.
comedy is stat panels and repeated
Yes.
images. Like comedy, the more you read, the more the comedy builds on
Yes.
it, you know?
Mhm.
And
Absolutely.
we had the freedom to do that because we had, 60 issues. If you're not Scott Snyder or Brian K. Vaughan, like the market's changed. I don't know that a fucking schlub like me is going to get 60 issues again.
Yeah, that must have been pretty difficult to get even back then.
No.
No?
We hit bigger than anyone ever expected. Myself.
No shit.
And there was a point where it's like, you know what? We can do anything right now. What do we want to do? And all my favorite books, Preacher, Why the Last Man, Transmet, Scalped, 60 issues is the perfect amount for a novel where you don't get like, I like Sandman, but it kind of gets up its own ass in self-importance. And I think by 75 issues or whatever, it was kind of self-indulgent. And I think 60 issues is the perfect amount to tell a novel. And that's what I wanted. That's what I got.
Yeah.
Very nice.
And the other thing I will also say is that if I was ever assembling a team to take on any big multiversal threat, Agent Poyo would be on that team.
Yeah, everyone loved Poyo. Although I have to say, like, Poyo as a writer ran out of gas for me, and the third Poyo special kind of left me feeling empty. Like usually I like my stuff, and I didn't like that issue, and I've actually come back and read it, and it's like, oh, that was pretty good. What was the problem? You know what? It might have been exhaustion. I was writing a bunch of Batman at the time. Like, it was just too much, and I wrote it in like kind of bad prose poetry, which I thought was really bad, and it was, but it was enjoyably bad. I now realize.
I have to say, his partner is one of my favorite characters because his just really gruff exterior, it's totally different from what he actually is, and I don't know. I find his story so far one of the most intriguing.
You're talking about Colby with the robot face?
Yeah.
Colby was pure id. I mean, he and the sister were the most fun to write.
Yeah.
Okay, I have to ask because of with Colby, and I'm probably missing something, but why did you name him John instead of Jack?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, John and Jack in the old days were kind of similar, like, in like the 1920s or whatever, Johns were called Jacks and stuff. So it's like the same name. And maybe it was a little wish fulfillment, he's a kid. I wish I could be him.
Well, because a lot of your characters have food puns. I read that Savoy is a type of cabbage.
No, Savoy is a. Yeah, you're right. Colby's the type of cheese. I think Savoy might be a type of apple, but maybe it is a type of cabbage. But yeah, every single character in Chew has a food name.
Wow.
Which you some of this shit you got to dive deep. There's
Right.
a guy like on the island, like a sheriff named Kalulu, which is like a Hawaiian pig. But
Mhm.
literally every single
No
person in
kidding.
Chew had a food name, which got really hard by the end.
Right.
Okay,
I
So-
can imagine.
Was the governor on the island supposed to be Peter Lorre?
You'd have to ask Rob. You know, I don't
Okay.
put a lot of direction in visuals. You know, like the main characters when we're like that's supposed to be Kirkman. Like I'm pointing at my screen. You see the guy in the second panel?
Yeah.
Like
Oh my God.
that's Larson. That's McFarlane. Like in the second panel, those are
Those-
that's Bob Liefeld.
wow, the Image guys.
Yeah.
Holy crap! I didn't realize that.
So I guess that guy, the tall guy in the hat, has to be Silvestri, but you know, Rob doesn't do the best likenesses. But that was, you know, that's all Rob. That's nothing to do with me. In fact, 90% of the inside jokes visually is Rob. And once he realized people liked it, he kind of leaned into it and you know, really started like, you know, every freaking panel has like, you know, some kind of writing or inside joke, and people loved it. And, you know, we're running so close to the bone. I get low res pages, and I'm lettering it, and then I don't see the high res pages till right until we're about to put it together for the press. It
Right.
goes on. People are like, oh, I love that Hill Street Blues joke in 43, and I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about?
So, do you do hand lettering or do you?
No,
use
nobody does hand lettering. No, I use Comic Craft fonts, and
Okay.
you know, I know design from my newspaper days, so you know, I can't draw, so the closest you can have for control over a page is lettering. I think every writer should letter. It also teaches
really.
you how much you can put on a page, because like fledgling writers or like novelists turned writers, they fucking write a novel, and it doesn't fit on a page, and sometimes it shows. So yeah, I mean, lettering is the best skill a writer could have.
So another question I had is that I've noticed throughout your career you're a huge fan of crossovers. I mean,
It's the funnest
yeah.
part of comics.
Right. So one of like again, I think it was Revival, the Outer Limits, which was another book that you did.
No.
That was the Dark.
Outer Darkness. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. And then even I think you did like Army of Darkness and Xena, and then there was Marvel Zombies, Army of Darkness, like
Marvel Attacks or Mars Attacks, Red Sonja. Yeah, I've written Judge Dredd versus Predator versus Aliens. I've written some great crossovers. I love fucking crossovers.
We might have picked the wrong book to read. That sounded like something right up my alley.
Well, which one, VR?
Judge Dredd, Predator, and Aliens.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Oh, that was a fun book.
Question
The artist fucked us, and I should have had 5 issues instead of 4. The ending was a little rushed, but I got to write Judge Dredd versus Aliens versus Predator. So yeah, I've done crossovers are my favorite thing.
How do you get to land a book like that? Get into that playground.
You get to be known as the weirdo writer, and people come to you.
Noted.
We have a question from our viewers. Which character is your favorite that you have written?
In Chew or everywhere?
I
think
know
everywhere.
The person is, so it's going to be everywhere.
Yeah, that's too big a question for me to answer.
All right, what about in Chew? Okay. Who's your favorite?
Tony, the sister, the girl, Tony with an I. Which the people who've only read if you've only read the first 3 trades, yet. She shows up in the end of the 3rd trade, and she becomes the soul of the book.
Oh.
I mean, she is the most. She's the heart and soul in the book, and she's the most important to your empathy.
Right.
But Chew was such a complex book, and there was so much shit that I had to explain, which is why I did some of the omniscient narration, like this is the world, this is what he does. Like you had to lay that out. That I didn't feel like I could introduce the whole cast until I got to issue 15. You had you had to care about Tony
Mhm.
and Colby and Fear Savoy before I could really get into the family meat of it.
Yeah, definitely.
So let's ask that a different way, because I love Chew. Now I need to go back and find more of your other stuff, and I see that you did a run on detective comics with Fabok.
Yes, I did. In fact, I worked with Fabok before he was Fabok. He was this new kid, and
Mhm.
they're like, "Hey, man, this guy's good. You're on Batman with him." It's like, "Yeah, he's good." Do you have a question?
Well, no, I was going to ask, similar. It looked like you. I did a quick breeze through, and it looks like Penguin, Poison Ivy. What character was more interesting to you to write for?
Probably Poison Ivy, but like I never expected to write Batman, and
Mhm.
so I went into thinking this is a mistake. I'm going to get fired. I'm going to write as many characters as I like before they get wise and they kick me off.
Right.
And I got 2 years, a bunch of other books, and Batman Eternal. So I got to write every character I cared about.
Batman Eternal.
Awesome.
Love Batman Eternal.
But like Fabok, you learn what your artists like, and then you write to them. You want your artist to be as enthusiastic as possible. And Fabok, like at least then in his career, he liked the freaking toys. So I give him the tumbler, I give him the bat plane, I give him this or that. Like he was just a freaking kid in a candy store. So I just gave him a new fucking toy to play with every issue. And he was a pig in slop. He couldn't be happier. And that's how you get an artist's best work.
That's true. So another question I have is that, like, you worked on Eternal, which was you and a bunch of other writers and a slew of other creators, and it's the same thing with when you did Army of Darkness versus Marvel Zombies. It was you and a bunch of other writers, and then
No, it was me.
Oh, it was just you. Okay, I'm sorry. You had multiple artist collaborators. My bad.
Well, the artists couldn't keep up, so they brought in Sean Phillips and someone else towards the end. But it was Fabiano Neves for at least the first 4 issues.
Yeah. So, like, again, when you're working, so I guess my question being is, I apologize, I must have got my lines crossed. When you're working with a group of people, like, how does that work? Like, does one issue have more of your input?
I fucking hated it, and I eventually left Batman Eternal early. And I like all these guys. Like I like them all personally, but I'm a guy who I like to be in a cave all by myself. I don't want to play with others.
Oh yeah.
And they came to me and they're like, hey, do you want to write Batman Eternal? And it's like, it's with all these other guys. I'm like, not really, but I don't want to be a dick and say no. I mean, and also I thought, okay, I could tie it into Batman. I could get paid twice the money for 1.5 times the work.
Right.
But as it turned out, like an artist would turn in a page and you'd get an email. Oh, that page looks great. Yeah, it looks great. Oh yeah, it looks great. I'd end up with 85 emails a day. And it was cool, but like I don't want to be a collaborator. It's just not my nature. And there were no problems. I like every single freaking guy I worked with. It's just not my comfort zone. And and then we went into a Batman retreat, and I don't know if I should say this sort of stuff.
Boy.
James Tynan and Scott Snyder plotted it. So I don't get plot royalties. I only get script royalties. So they came in like, yeah, you only get half the royalties, but because the other guys have worked out the Uber plot. And it's like, okay, that's kind of sucks. And then they're like, and we're taking you off detective. You're not doing bad, but it's been 2 years and change, or almost 2 years. We got to rearrange the deck chairs. We got to keep things fresh. We're going to put you on another book. Okay. Wonderful. DC, you're looking after me. Thank you.
Right.
Meanwhile, they've been handing me, here's a 50-page detective anniversary issue. Here's a Clayface thing. Here's a Catwoman thing. Beautiful shiny objects. I'm falling behind on Chew, and suddenly, like, choose my baby, choose mine.
Right.
If I fuck it up, man, Batman's always going to be there. If I fuck up Chew, I fuck up my legacy. And they're like, well, you're going to get half royalties. We're going to put you on another book, and you're behind on your creator-owned book. And I'm like, you know what? Batman will always be there. I gotta go. You know, I love you guys. I appreciate everything. I can't sacrifice my own book. So
Seems
at
like
that
it was
point,
the
I'm
right
like,
choice.
yeah. Well, I mean, but then I came back. I'm like, hey, DC, I'm ready. And it was all new editors. Are like, who are you? So it's taken me a while to kind of weasel my way back into DC. So you know, my Chew royalty checks tell me that it was the right decision, but you know, part of me is like, you know, DC's not coming to me with shit on a silver platter anymore.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that, because I read some of the detective work. I thoroughly enjoyed it, both what you and Fabok did, and I was a fan of Batman Eternal, and you know, I love what you did
they
there.
did a great job, and it was fun. That's not the way
It's
I
not
want to
good.
write. You know, I got nothing bad to say about the experience.
But I will say, one of my favorite crossovers, I'm a Marvel Zombies fan, and I loved what you did with Army of Darkness. I'm also a huge Ash fan. So him and Marvel Zombies in the prequel, I thought I'm still laughing at some of the jokes. And it's funny because when I was with Screen Rant, I noticed that they didn't cover a nice chunk of it. So I was like, oh, like, do you guys know about this story and this story? I was like, oh, no, we have no idea. Write those articles. So I was like, sweet, I'm being paid to write about my favorite comics. What a job.
So
And
there's a funny trick you do as a writer, especially with like licensed stuff or big two stuff. Like, you want to do this. Everything's reversed. You want to do this, but they're not going to let you. So you pitch this instead, and then they're going to say no to that, but then they won't notice the thing you really want to do. So you pitch them something so outrageous, they say no, and then you get the thing you want in, because you know it's like a magician. You know, it's misdirection.
Right. So
I pitched Army of Darkness all this crazy shit that would not go through to get through the shit I wanted, and they said yes to everything. So I got like Hulk wiping his butt with the Necronomicon and like just insane stuff. It was fantastic.
Oh, it's like I said, it's one of my favorite crossovers that I got you to sign. I think it was like Boston Comic Con, like 2014 or something like that.
Is that where we met, Drew?
Yes.
Okay.
It's a long time.
Was Rob Guillory there too?
He might have been. But I wasn't. I had yet to discover Chew on my own. I've always been a comic fan that people tell me, oh, you should read this, you would love this and everything. I was like, that's great. I need to find it on my own time. You know,
yeah. You don't want people to pressure you. I remember that Boston Comic Con. I went to dinner with Scott Ian from Anthrax.
Nice.
Yeah, and all we did was talk about Lord of the Rings and Titanic.
Those
were the times, huh?
The 2014 was a magical time, Char. It was a magical time.
While you were working on Batman-related things, a question from Pyle: did you ever write anything for the Joker?
The closest thing I did was there was a Joker crossover that I think Snyder, because Snyder was the dude on Batman, and I had no illusions. Like, Snyder was the guy. Like, if you only had $3 or $3.99 or whatever the fuck it was then, buy the Snyder book. You know, I'm the guy you buy when you've got $6. But if you want the main Batman book, read Scott Snyder. And he did a crossover with Joker, and I was part of that, where I wrote like basically Joker fanatics, like a group of people who kind of worship the Joker.
Yeah.
Was it Death of the Family? I can't remember.
I believe that's what it was.
I've never actually written the Joker. I created a character named the Dentist. And one day, first thing in the morning, the door knocks. It's freaking FedEx. They hand me a $1,000 check. And like, what the fuck is this? Oh, your character, the dentist, showed up in Gotham for 2 episodes. Thank you, DC.
No shit.
Hey, sweet.
DC treats their talent very well. I will say that. Like DC, Marvel has better characters. DC treats their employees much better.
Okay, noted. Oh, wow. I'm still dealing with
as a writer or in comics, what would you say has been like your greatest feat accomplished besides Chew? Like, I mean, that's got to be amazing to feel. Have you?
Yeah, I
be
mean,
critically acclaimed and like.
Yeah, I mean, Chew. I grew up on. Any of you guys read Cerebus?
Yes,
I used to have a pretty deep collection of that.
Okay, Cerebus. I can't recommend it because parts of it are unreadable. But when I was growing up, in the 80s and 90s, Cerebus came out for 300 issues. So there were points when I was buying 20 comic books a week, and there were comic books or times when I had a girlfriend or I was broke and I was buying 1 comic book a month. But Cerebus for 300 months brought me into the comic book store, and also Dave Sim was very very vocal about
dedication right there.
What's that?
That's dedication. All 300 issues.
Yeah. Well, comic book fans, we're all dedicated in our own way. But like, Dave Sim was also very into creator rights and stuff. So my formative years were, you want your own Cerebus. You want your own novel with a beginning, middle, and end that you own. And I got that with Chew.
Yeah.
Short of that, I think I've written one of the best Godzilla stories ever. Godzilla's Gangsters and Goliaths has been reprinted in like 6 different fucking trades. It's IDW, so you only get paid once. But it's one of the best Godzilla stories, and I'm trying to be humble, but it's fucking great. And I'm proud of most of my stuff. I mean, any kind of comics are a lot of work, and just to get a comic on a
hell yeah.
But there's different little things. Like I wanted to write Plastic Man forever, and I wrote like an 8-page, 12-page Christmas story.
That was actually one of our viewers' questions.
Oh,
about Plastic Man, yeah.
Yeah, so I had a concept because Plastic Man started off as a villain named Eel O'Brien, and I wanted to like really go back to a year 1 where he's a criminal and he gets superpowers, so he pretends to be a hero in to basically like pursue his criminal career. Like he's basically taking out his enemies, and it's really about him like coming to the top of like becoming the top gangster. But as it's one of these Kurt Vonnegut things. You become what you pretend to be, and he pretended to be a hero so much that he sort of at the end, the cheesy ending, he got more satisfaction out of being a hero. But the whole concept is him being a hero to further his criminal career, which I thought would have been awesome. I could never get fucking Dan DiDio to sign off on it.
That sucks. Was there ever a TV show or cartoon or anything in the works? Like I heard stuff and I got like so excited for it, and then never heard anything again.
We were a Showtime show for a while. We were a heavy metal. The people who had heavy metal, we were a cartoon for a while. Skybound had us. We were a horrible fucking TV show that I'm glad never happened. And then the last go around, because Skybound, I hated their version so badly, and I didn't really have any power, that the last time it's like, I got to have my hands in this. I can't give it away. So between like 2020 and 2023, I was working with Warner Brothers. Rob Guillory was too, and we put this cartoon deck together, pitched to HBO, Adult Swim, Amazon, Netflix, Fox, and right about the time we were pitching it was right when the writer's strike was right around the corner.
Okay.
And they're like, we kind of like this, but we have another cop show, and there's this weird strike that might be happening, and we don't want to hand you another $20,000 and have us not be able to do anything because the strike's going on. So see you later. And the option expired, and now I'm right freaking back to square one.
Right.
Taking phone calls every week.
Sorry for bringing up sore.
No.
Sore
I mean, that's comics. I mean, it took Preacher 20 years. It took freaking The Boys 20 years.
Yeah.
I hope we're as good as The Boys.
Yeah. You have such material, and I think that's the thing I love about Chew is that it's so unapologetically weird. And I've always said that those are the best comics. They embrace the weird. You're not trying to be what's already been established. You're not trying to be the next Superman, Batman, Spider-Man, all that stuff.
Some comics are, you can tell that they're Netflix pitches. Like, this is Die Hard. In Die Hard meets Titanic, or whatever.
Right.
And you can almost feel the insincerity dripping off that. And then you got something like Saga, which would be almost impossible to be a TV show. You got swinging dicks and cum shots and like.
Yep.
Saga's, thank God.
The sci-fi or the special effects budget would have to be insane.
Yeah, right. And that's the glory of comics, because comics doesn't have to be a Netflix pitch. It can be literally anything, and that is some of the problem with Chew. It's like when we've tried live action, they're like, oh, it's so funny in the book, when Tony's like eating a finger, but when we write this live action pilot, it seems gross, and it's like. Yeah, that's why I went with Rob Guillory for art. You wanted someone kind of goofy that would make you laugh during this.
Yeah. And it's just, was there, so I had two questions. So one, was there any moment in like, is there anything on the cutter room floor that you had for Chew that was like, man, I wish we could have included this, but no? Or, yeah.
I was going to hit every single sibling, and we got a lot of flack from kind of the really vocal trans people. There's a character named Harold Chew who was a cross dresser, not a trans, and he actually had a deeper story. And there was a point where we got attacked for being anti-trans, based on a couple panels that people read too much into. I mean, we didn't have a fucking anti-trans agenda, but they went after it, and it's like, okay, this is a fourth rail. I'm not going to touch this character, because every I've never said this. Every character in Chew, every sibling is a twin. Rosemary and Chow, Sage and Saffron, Tony and Tony, and then Harold, keeping the eating theme, actually ate his twin sister in the womb, and he is both him and his sister. So he was going to be male and female with two separate personalities. I started hinting at that, and then there were people like, oh, he's calling him brother and sister. He's got some kind of anti-trans agenda. It's like, okay, backing off of this. I don't want to. I don't write comics to piss people off. As soon as it became this thing where I don't write controversy. That's not me. So as soon as that happened, it's like, you know what? I'm backing off of this. I'm not out to piss people off.
Right.
That's a kind of a safe way to say today's age. Not that being anti-trans is a good thing or anything like that, but like you got to watch yourself in what you say and
especially on the internet age, because I'm on the left, man. I'm the I'm the hippie bomb thrower, and they were coming after me. And it's like, wait, man, like
I'm one of you.
I'm not doing what you're saying, and you're picking two panels out of a 3,500 page book, and you're using this as a case that Rob drew a couple like inside jokes that people read too much into, and I'm like, Rob, what did that mean? And he's like, it was the end of a 12-hour day. I was just writing some bullshit. Didn't mean anything. He put something on a sign, and people thought, oh, this is part of Layman's anti-trans agenda. And it's like, all right, staying away from that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I read every
It's
sign. I
exclusive.
didn't see any anti-trans myself.
There was okay. I love Rob. Rob draws ugly women. That's part of his
I
charm.
agree.
He cannot draw a pretty woman to save his life. And there was a point where he drew a woman walking across the street, and it was a really ugly woman. And he put a sign on the shirt saying, "Am I a dude?" And it's because you honestly couldn't tell. And then he put a sign in the background that said "Skank Crossing." And like, I drew that 16 hours apart. Like, one does not connect with the other. And again, I see all this stuff in low res. Like, I don't even notice it till it goes to print. And people are like, how did you let that go through? I didn't notice, man. I'm trying to put together a 32-page book every month and write 50 pages of Batman. Don't attack me.
Right.
And it really it blew up. It blew up in a, I should have been more sympathetic, but I was also like, fuck you guys. I didn't do anything wrong. There's no malice here. And that didn't fly either.
Mm.
Well, I mean, like I said, the book is, again, having read all of it, it's just great. And when I found out that you were returning to the universe and exploring the sister, the master criminal, I was just like, oh God, yes, this is so great. Because again, more of that world.
Have you read it, Drew?
Yeah, I mean, thoroughly enjoying it.
CHU was a lot of fun, but it was definitely a different vibe.
Right.
And people were kind of expecting more of the same. Like, it did well enough. And I would like to return to it, probably with a different artist. I mean, I love Dan Boltwood, but he's a weird hermit. Like, he disappears off the grid for months at a time. So putting this out here, because I know what the next arc is. If you are a manga style artist who draws cute girls, guns, and vehicles, drop me a line.
Hey.
Oh, look at that.
There you go. What a plug. Was there any crossover that you always wanted to do? And I'm not just talking with Chew, I'm talking like in general. Like, did you had the script ready? Like, if someone's like, hey, do you want to do this? You'd be like, I'm in.
So Chew Outer Darkness was actually Chew Star Trek The Next Generation.
Whoa.
But I could not get IDW to sign off on that at the time.
That's amazing.
What was the thing I pitched recently? God damn it. Thundercats, Army of Darkness. I threw that, but like, I'm at a point where I don't write real pitches, because I know all the editors and stuff. I just wrote Dynamite. I'm like, hey man, I've written Nash, I've written Thundercats. Let me do a crossover. Never heard back from him.
Oh my God.
I didn't push it, It
was just like John's fucking around again.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. But I would have written it. I still will.
Oh,
dude, but Ash going after Mumra? Holy shit.
Oh my God. No, did you see me and Jeremy had the same reaction? We were like, I'm sorry, what? Yes. Like, put us down for one, please. We're good. We're good for it. We'll support.
Thundercats, Masters of the Universe, those are two genres what do you call them? Whatever, they're two that I stick with. And you're gonna throw Thundercats with anything, I'm just like, oh, that's amazing.
So my dream license is They Live. Like, if any freaking comic book company gets They Live, we'll crawl over glass to write that thing.
I got to meet Roddy Piper, I think it was like 3 months before he passed.
Oh wow.
And it was so cool because he was at this small, it was at Big Apple Con in the city. It's this rinky-dink con run by a guy named Mike Carbo. and he's there, and I'm a They Live fan, you know what I mean? And I know of his wrestling, but I have a bunch of friends like, oh my god, it's Roddy Piper, or like holy shit. And I'm there, and I have my copy of They Live, and I'm even sharp. I even have my shades on
like
because
DVD.
yeah, I'm a big collector there, and I made sure to get his autograph on DVD, of course. And I paid to get autograph from my friends, and I made sure to spell their names correct and everything. It was like, and he looked at me, he was like, "You got a lot of friends, man." And I'm like, yeah. I was like, yeah. I explained to him the whole thing, like how they couldn't make it because one of them was sick, the other one was attending a funeral, and they're big wrestling fans. It was like, he was like, "You're a good friend," and I was like, I don't know how, but this means so much. You telling me that, and it was just the nicest moment ever. And I gave it to my friends; they were so happy. And I have a photo with him, and it was so cool. He was so nice. And I was just like, later on, as an Always Sunny fan, I was like, I got a photo with the maniac. But for the longest time, I've always, like, John Carpenter is amazing. No one ever contested that. But I've always said, like, don't sleep on They Live, man. It's
Actually, it took kind of new meaning in the Trump era.
Oh my
God.
God.
When you watch it again, like, and it's also just prescient, it's because it was an indictment against Reaganomics, but it stands the test of time, especially during certain eras.
So if you did get the They Live, would you do an entire issue of that fight scene in the alley?
Oh, yeah. Yes. No, I would do an entire fight scene of one issue. Like, again, going back to Cerebus, there was a Cerebus thing that ran like a giant fight. Also, oh Jesus, one of my very favorite books is Shaolin Cowboy. Like,
with
the
Jeff
first
Darrow,
series where there's like a zombie fight that lasts like 60 pages.
What?
It's the best thing ever.
Wow. Oh, and because I'm a shameless plug, I have to show everybody.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, and I made sure when I got to meet John Carpenter, which I still can't believe, I was like, there are two things I need to have signed by you. Obviously, the first thing is The Thing, because it's John Carpenter. And I was like, you need to sign this. And he was like, oh, you got to meet Roddy. Like, I was just like, yes, I will forever cherish that moment. Please sign this. Ugh. I'm good. I'm fine. But yes, if you do that, please, I will 100% support that, because They Live. I've never looked at bubblegum the same.
Yeah, it's weird because I think the rights are held up somewhere by a dick, because I have told publishers who like me, it's like, get They Live, man. I'll write it for a song, man. I don't care. Get me They Live. And no one's able to.
That sucks.
Oh, now would be a good time because like aliens are like in the news and everything. Like,
yeah, aliens. But I've because you created. Have you seen Chew cosplayers? Like,
oh yeah. In fact, one of my favorite things that happened was I went to New York Con, and a whole bunch of, like, a group showed up as Tony the sister. The Indian fiance Paneer,
right?
And I forget there were 4 of them, and I can't remember them. And they did a photo shoot.
Oh my god!
And sorry, my kid. Go ahead. So they did a photo shoot, and they were aping the scene from. This is crazy. This made me cry. It's been a lot of years at this point. But they did a photo shoot where Paneer, the Indian, suitor, proposes to Tony the sister, and they were taking pictures to match the comic book frame. But what the girl didn't know is the dude actually had a ring, and he actually proposed as the Jew.
Oh my god!
And so she showed up, like, crying because she had just been freaking proposed to by this dude dressed as Chew characters. Like, how can that not choke you up? but yeah, I've seen tattoos. I've seen that, but like,
That's the
holy
best.
fuck! That, like, you talk about a book that like touches people, like
Mm-hmm.
proposed dressed as my characters, like that's amazing.
Yeah, that's got to be an all-time high.
Yeah.
It I mean,
One of
listen.
the people's name was Kim. My
Mhm.
wife's name is Kim, and I was at a convention overseas,
Mhm.
New Zealand or India or something like that, and I sent an email, typed out Kim, like an "I love you, I miss you," and I sent it to her instead of my wife. So I think she
Whoa.
thinks I'm like super creep.
So,
Got to watch out for that John Layman.
oh
Yeah.
man, he's gonna lay some. He's gonna lay man. Hey, no, that's amazing. I say this as being someone who's participated in 2 New York Comic Con wedding proposals. So that is, I'm sorry, that's the best. That's so good.
Yeah.
Holy
But
crap.
yeah, like when I saw my first like Poyo tattoo or the Galsa berry, which is the the
Mhm.
alien
Yeah.
fruit, like someone
Yeah.
got a freaking Galsa berry tattoo, and yeah, I've seen like Chew logo tattoos, like
Mhm.
it's flattering, and then I've been debating a tattoo. And it's like, oh, you should get a chog. It's like I'm not getting my own freaking character on my arm, man. That's
Right,
weird.
right. I mean, listen, whatever works for you, man. But it's so funny because I know there's that company that always makes props about, they make the porgs and the Poyo statues.
Oh,
And I'm
skeleton
like,
crew.
yeah, exactly. And
Yeah.
I'm just like, oh man, one of these days I'm gonna get. I was like, I'm just gonna get a porg and I'm gonna stick it somewhere randomly in my apartment. I'm gonna wait for somebody to find it and just be like, what is this? I was like, well, fun fact, if you read this quality comic book, you'll learn more. It's like, this is how you get them. You got to get that hook, and nothing will hook someone weirder than a pork or Poyo.
You mean
Either way.
chog, right?
Yeah. I it's funny because when I was reading it, I kept calling them that, and Anne's like, they're porgs are Star Wars. You keep calling them chogs. I was like, you have to get it right, especially God forbid you meet the person and you get it wrong, you're embarrassed yourself. And I was like, I still did that.
Yeah, doesn't matter.
Goddamn whiskey.
But yeah, we're, Rob and I have been talking to a dude about like kickstartering. Again, this is me drinking. I shouldn't say this. Kickstarting action figures. Like
Oh, hell yeah.
Colby or Tony Savoy. Like,
I would buy those in a second.
Same.
I think a lot of people would. And
I'm a big action. You can't see it, but action figures all over the room, hanging from the walls everywhere.
You've got like an optical illusion. It looks like you're.
Yeah, it's my room. It's where I am at. There used to be comics hanging from the ceiling. I'm very lazy and haven't put them back up because during the summer I am up in an attic space and it gets so hot up in here that the comics bend and
You don't know
want
hot,
all that.
man. It's
Oh no, you're right. When 120, my fiance was actually, she was like, we need to move to Arizona. I was like, we don't need to move inside an oven.
Yeah. An oven. We're gonna be fucking Mad Max in 10 years. I guarantee you.
Oh fuck yeah.
Oh boy. All right. Well, all right. We start saving your water now, kids.
I watch the news every day. The world's going to shit. California's flooding.
Yeah. I don't know where you move that's safe.
Mars.
There we go.
At this rate.
That's what they're all doing now. They're moving everything to Mars.
So it's been about an hour, John. I mean, if you want to stay with us while we do the news, you're more than welcome to. But if you got to go, we understand. You got family stuff, and maybe there's no whiskey.
Refill on my drink, pee, and that's it. So I'll take a commercial break. How about that?
All right.
Sounds good.
Real quick, it wouldn't be a true issue if you didn't have.
Oh, look at that! That was
that
was the best thing about Chew, or a best thing was because I don't like writing letters pages, so it was easy. I would just get cat pictures, put them in, and someone's like, oh, you put Fluffy in issue 35. none of my relatives give a fuck about Chew, but they all love Fluffy, so I bought 35 issues. And people will treasure the issue with their, Fluffy's gone now. Fluffy's dead. And
but
it's
they
been
still
10
got
years.
the fluffy issue.
Yeah. It was win-win because I didn't have to write a letters page and I could make everyone happy.
Oh, Carrie would 100% send in for that. Guaranteed. She loves turkey. Hinata? Oh my God. Right.
I'll just start sending you pictures of Hinata. She's awesome.
Well,
Yeah.
the next time I have a creator-owned book, I'll do that again, but I don't know when that'll be. I'm taking a break from I'm writing the Scorched right now, which is the Spawn team book, which Jesus, I never thought I'd be writing Spawn, but it just fell into my lap. And so I'm local, which I think helps.
Mm-hmm.
And I drive into the office, once a month when it's, you put the thing to, the book to bed.
Right.
And it's weird because Todd McFarlane has done 350 freaking issues of Spawn at this point. And, he's a gazillionaire. He buys like $1 million baseballs. He is still in the office noodling with colors. This mask is a little too orange. It should be blue. It's like, why aren't you in the French Riviera, dude? Like, I would be with less money than you. And I admire how much he still freaking cares, man. It's his baby. And it's fun to be writing. It's a bucket list thing I never knew I had. You know what I mean?
Totally. Totally. All right. Well, you do your commercial.
I'm going to refill.
All right. Do you think?
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for listening. Thank you guys for having me. I'll be back in 5.
All right. Cool.
Sounds good. Yeah. Well, we're still going to be here for more show, but before we go on to that, let's play an ad for coffee. Deadly Grounds Coffee. Check this out.
Rise and shine, my sinners. When Father Evil starts his day, he gets a little deadly. Deadly Grounds Coffee has the richest, smoothest flavor you'll find anywhere. It's sinfully delicious. Once you go deadly, you never go back. Order yours at getdeadly.com. Coffee's so good, it's scary.
Woohoo! Okay, well, it's that time of the year show. I don't know.
Show.
It's the most wonderful time of the show.
Where
the covers are shining and everyone's crying. When will they end?
Let's get out of here.
One variant watch begin.
Awesome. So I know it's not part of the news, but I just messaged my LCS. So Batman 142 has sold out already.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. What is it with books pre-selling out? Like Black Panther.
Yeah.
Ultimate Black Panther issue 1 is not even in stores yet, and it's already sold out.
Maybe scalpers.
I have no idea. No, it's all the orders from the comic book stores.
Yeah.
They've all done all these. It's already sold out. They already have a variant. They already have a second printing variant that'll be ready, I think, in March when issue 2 dropped. And I was like, boom. This is why we book ahead of time, kids. So
yeah,
let's go. All right. So I believe Carrie, you're on Variant Watch today, right?
Yes, I am. We're going to see how many names I can butcher.
Yeah.
All of them. Let's do this.
Oh, yeah. All right. So Blood Hunt is Marvel's latest focus on the vampires in their universe coming out. Jed McKay, Pepe Larraz, and Marte Garcia will be leading us through the main series. And there are also going to be some limited series, one-shots, and tie-in issues. This variant cover by Stanley Artgerm Lau gives us a gorgeous Tigra for issue 1. And This is available on March 1st. And I mean,
Mhm.
Archer, we've gotten used to it, just like that name is synonymous with holy cow. That's just
I,
Yeah.
beautiful.
listen, I just feel like he can do no wrong. Every cover he does, everybody looks phenomenal. So I'm just like you can understand why like the man makes a killing on commissions and stuff. Like shit, even I'd get one.
I have his he did a special Harley Quinn for the like anniversary and stuff. Friggin'
Oh,
amazing.
nice. Oh, yeah, it's gorgeous.
Yeah.
So all right, so Art Gem, support him.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah. Okay, next we have this foil variant of Deadpool #1 is thanks
Mhm.
to In-hyuk Lee. The new Deadpool is coming to us from writer Cody Ziegler with art by Roger Antonio. Ziegler is known for his Miles Morales Spider-Man, while Antonio has recently been working on Venom and Carnage, and it releases on April 3rd. So that's pretty cool. I think that's gonna look really nice in foil. I think that's gonna just be nice and
Yeah,
shiny for us.
another
Uh,
Deadpool issue one, but it does look cool.
yeah. Moving on. These are all short ones here. Ultimate X-Men launches on uh, March 6th. This variant cover by Mark Brooks is going to be going on. Peach Momoko will be both writing and illustrating the new X-Men in Jonathan Hickman's Ultimate World.
Look at that artwork. I mean, Mark Brooks, I mean, I knew him when he was doing the Ultimate Spider-Man annuals. And he's just done such great work. And his covers are beautiful. I mean, look at May Storm and Armor there. They look phenomenal.
Yeah. Oh, I
Gee.
did lie. The art term one is in May, not March. I
Okay.
got my M's confused.
How dare you. All right.
Damn it.
What okay.
All right.
Malachi.
Coming up next, this one is also on March 6th. We get Miss Marvel Mutant
Marvel.
Menace,
Uh-huh.
written by Iman Vellani and Sabir Perzado with art by Scott Godlewski.
Uh-huh.
This is going to be a
Oh,
follow-up comic
Scott's great.
to Miss Marvel, the New Mutant, and the variant cover is the work of Derek Chu.
Yep. So, all right.
Okay, and now,
Yeah.
oh, go ahead.
No, I was going to say another great artwork, and then the Stormbreakers.
Yeah, now we got Stormbreakers. This series of Stormbreakers is in celebration of Women's History Month. And starting off here, we have the sensational She-Hulk that'll be released again on March 6th. That's a variant cover by Nick Klein.
Mm-hmm.
Moving on, we have the Miss Marvel Mutant Menace, and that is also on March 6th. That will be the variant cover by Federico Vicentini.
Yes.
You can correct me if I'm wrong here.
You're doing great. You're doing great, Carrie. Just keep it up.
All right. On sale on March 20th, we have the Invincible Iron Man Stormbreakers variant cover by Chris Allen. That one was easy.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Got that one. The Doctor Strange is on March 6th, going back again. This cover is by Elena Casagrande.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. Go Spider.
Yeah, this one is actually for Carnage, and it's on sale on the 13th of March. It's a cover by John Balzadua.
Carnage.
Yeah, they just kind of throw them around sometimes. Invincible Iron Man. This will be on the 20th, and that is variant cover by Chris Allen.
Okay.
Oh wait, no, I lied. That's actually Avengers #11, variant cover by Martin Coccolo.
Okay. Squirrel Girl.
Because I do that. Yeah. This one is for Captain America. It is done by Lucas Wernick.
Yeah.
And
heavy week this week.
Yeah. Well, not like some of the weeks when we had like over 30 of them at a time. So.
Oh my God.
We should never do that.
Ever.
Never do that again.
But
ever.
No, ever. Okay. The Squirrel Girl one's my favorite.
The Squirrel Girl.
But okay. I'm partial. We have our own Squirrel Girl. more like Squirrel Wrangler.
Squirrel Wrangler.
Squirrel Wrangler. All right, so we've done Variant Watch. Now let's do the news.
Drew's news. Whose news? Drew's news.
I hate all of you.
I didn't do the new audio yet. I apologize, but it's still,
that's fine.
Okay.
Oh no, there's new.
It works. I think it
No,
works.
no.
Yeah.
Oh no,
We keep
you're gonna
pulling on it.
So
embarrass me in front of our guest.
Yes.
he can give an honest opinion what he thinks about this.
Drew's News. Exciting tales, fresh comic views, in the pages, heroes fly, villains plot, under the sky. From Gotham's dark to Metropolis views, we cover stories old and new. Drew's News. Your daily source for comic clues. Join the fun, this heroic crew, in the world of Drew's Comics News.
Excelsior!
I hate all of you
That
so
was
much.
great.
See, it's great.
I need a refill. It's not empty, but I don't care. All right. Who's up first? Oh my God.
Okay, I believe it's Hellboy. Let me.
Okay. Yes. Thank you. Okay. We are getting more Hellboy, everybody. And I understand we never stopped getting Hellboy, but it's back. Okay. They've just announced that 2024 we will be getting a new Hellboy movie. I'm not sure if it's live action or animated, but it's going to be adapting one of the best Hellboy stories they ever did, The Crooked Man. Written by Mike Mignola, drawn by the late and forever great Richard Corbin. This story, taking place in the past, has Hellboy traveling the Appalachian Mountains with a young man, Tom Feller, to help bring his father's remains to be properly buried at the church up the mountain. But also they deal with the Crooked Man, who is a man, came back as a devil, who made a deal with Tom later in life for a magic wishbone that his miser meddler from hell wants back at all costs. It's a great comic series that we're also working on adapting soon, so stay tuned, kids. And it had a sequel, The Return of Elfie Cobb, which was by Mignola and the artist Zach Howard. Not only is DC Dark Horse agreeing to reprint this, Bolt Stories. Yeah, this is going to be happening, and I cannot be any more excited. This is truly one of the creepiest Hellboy stories I've ever read. So the fact that they're going to live adapt it, holy shit, I'm so fucking ready. Like, yeah, I'm so pumped.
You sound excited, Drew. That's
I-
great.
I
I love to
listen.
see the enthusiasm.
Being a Hellboy fan, I'm always down for more Hellboy, and especially if Hellboy done right, it's just going to be great. I mean, look at these pages; they're just fantastic, you know. So yeah, Hellboy, The Crooked Man, both going to be reprinted, the classic story and the sequel all together. I believe that should be relatively soon. I think it's like March.
June 19th.
Thank you. I was off a little, but June
All
19th.
those things are in the Hellboy library editions, right? Those
Yes.
big, beautiful.
Yes.
Oh, I love those.
The Crooked Man is, I think the sequel came out after, but you know they're gonna always reprint them, John. So you know, but I mean, God, look at the work, man. It is just beautiful.
I'm a hardcover slut. If you give me the most expensive hardcover, leather bound, whatever, which are those Hellboy library editions?
Absolutely,
Oh,
yeah. The second they found they were reading it, I was like, good. I can stop loaning people my individual issues. Here, go. Leave my preciousness alone. So keep an eye out on that, everybody. Especially keep an eye out for us when we announce sometime this year our live reading of Hellboy: The Crooked Man. If you saw our previous Hellboy live reads, you know we had a blast doing those. So this one, we cannot confirm or deny that we're going to make Leo the bad guy. Who knows? He could even get a chance to be Hellboy himself. Who knows?
Ooh,
I
that'd
enjoy
be an
being
interesting
that guy.
voice.
Right? Yeah. You know.
I'd
You know,
like to hear Leo doing. Oh, boy.
Ooh,
Yeah.
I'll give it a try. Yeah.
yeah.
The and you know, if you missed our live stream of the live reads, go to our YouTube page, and you know, I re-edited them, redid the graphics after the live stream, added
Sweet.
sound effects and stuff like that. So
Okay.
I know you're not that big of a fan of the sound effects, Drew, but I liked it.
I didn't say that I wasn't. I just said that our voices are the best sound effect we have. Okay? Boom. Moving on. Check this out, everybody, please, and make sure you sleep with the light on.
Totally. So next up, Jar
Oh,
Jar.
that's me. All right.
Sonja.
So following the success of Deadpool Samurai and Spider-Man Fake Red, Viz Media has unveiled its latest manga releases, Spider-Man Octogirl Volume 1 and X-Men Manga Volume 1. Dive into it. Spider-Man Octogirl Volume 1, originally published by, and talk about names that you're going to screw up, Shueisha
Nicely done.
Japan, is a fresh addition to the Spider-Man manga universe crafted by the minds behind My Hero Academia Vigilantes.
Oh, sweet. Really?
Yeah. Yeah,
Nice.
in this installment, Spider-Man's notorious adversary, Dr. Octopus, encounters an unprecedented challenge, adapting to a life as a middle school girl in Japan. Talk about weird. After a confrontation with Spider-Man, the brilliant yet villainous scientist, Dr. Octopus, falls into a coma. Upon awakening, he finds himself inhabiting the body of Atoa Akutumaya, a typical middle school girl in Tokyo. Thus unfolds school life of Spider-Man's most formidable foe, now living as an ordinary Japanese girl. Spider-Man Octogirl, featuring a narrative by Hideyuki Furuhashi. Oh, okay. And illustrated by Betancourt, is set to hit English shelves for the first time in fall 2024. Then you get on to indulge in exclusive manga rendition of your beloved X-Men narratives. The English adaptation of the cherished X-Men, the animated series, has undergone a deluxe remastering and is presented in a collector's edition for the first time. X-Men, the animated series, captured global acclaim, serving as the ideal gateway into the realm of Marvel's mutants. Hiroshi Higuchi's manga, previously unavailable for an extended period, now makes its triumphant return to print with a fresh translation and deluxe presentation. This edition stands as the ultimate collectible for X-Men enthusiasts. In Volume 1, the narrative unfolds around Jubilation Lee, a teenager harboring a clandestine truth. She is a mutant, possessing extraordinary powers as the next stage in human evolution. And we all know the story. Once again, comes out in fall 2024. I mean, if you don't know the animated series, then do yourself a favor, watch it.
Cue the theme song.
Do 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 do.
No, we don't have time for that. And Jar, you've also forgot to mention that if you enjoyed Deadpool Samurai, you can actually color your own version. They actually going to have a Deadpool
the
coloring book. 80 pages.
Oh, that's
okay.
awesome.
So, I have so many questions about the Octo Girl.
Me too. That's a weird.
Yeah,
it is Japan, but like that's.
No, I know. I like the X-Men. I'm like, okay, cool, but now I'm like, I have so many questions. So many questions. The first one is why?
Because Japan.
Thank you. That's all I need to know. I'm in.
Okay.
All right. What's next, Leo?
Okay. Next up is Carrie.
It's still Deadpool. Okay, that's
all right.
Ooh.
We got Symbiosis Necrosis, a Venom and Carnage crossover arc coming up. Cletus Cassidy, aka Carnage, is going after Dylan Brock, who is currently one of the Venoms, to get under Eddie Brock's skin. Here a Venom, there a Venom, he's a Venom, she's a Venom, everybody's been a Venom. Wouldn't you like to be a Venom too? Love you too. So this is going to be spread over a couple of different books. In the first issue is going to be Venom 31, and that is written by Torrin Grunbeck with art by Ken Lashley, cover art by Cafu, and on sale March 6th.
Ken's an amazing artist.
And that is going to be the Venom in the Blood. This is all basically just Carnage tormenting the Venoms.
Okay.
The next part comes in Carnage number 5. That is once again written by Torun Grönbeck. Am I pronouncing that at all correctly? We hope.
Sure.
Okay. Art by Pere Perez. The cover is by Juan Ferreira, and that's on sale March 13th.
Mhm.
The next one is going to be in Venom issue 32, written by Al Ewing, cover by Ken Lashley, and the cover art by Cafu again. That's going to be on sale April 3rd. And then the last part that we get to see here is just Carnage number 6, written by Torun Grönbeck, art by Pere Perez, and the cover by Juan Ferreira, and that's on sale April 10th. The last picture that we have in the list here is just some of the artwork that Cafu,
it's
so
the
that's
redesign.
Carnage design set up, and it's rather interesting. I think I don't know how huge of a fan of it I am, but then again, I'm not I don't spend a lot of time reading the symbiote stuff, so
it got
not
really
my place to judge.
Do you still read any comics, John?
What's that?
Do you still read any comics like today? Like pick them up off the stand?
I don't read any Marvel right now. I read stuff by I read stuff by my friends, so I don't feel like a dick. My favorite comic right now is Dark Ride by Josh Williamson.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I've read that. It's a good read.
But yeah, I read. Marvel's made it clear you're not working for me. You're not working for us anytime soon. It's like, all right, I'll watch your movies.
But that's it.
Yeah,
I haven't been a Marvel fan in a long time, so it no skin off anybody's teeth here.
Yeah, I pissed somebody off, but the last time I worked for Marvel was like 8 years ago, and they told me you're not coming back.
Wow. Okay. Wow. Okay. Well, their loss. You're great. Ha! Sorry.
What's next, Leo?
Yeah, Leo. Star Wars.
Yeah, next up. So Marvel Comics is set to unveil a new miniseries featuring the formidable Jedi Master Mace Windu. Coincided with holy crap, it's been 25 years already since Phantom Menace.
Wow, that is a beautiful cover.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, yeah.
So the series revealed that last year's New York Comic-Con will explore Mace Windu's adventures before the events of Star Wars: The Clone Wars, and they're still not saying like, did he survive? His fight.
Of course,
with
he
the
survived.
Emperor.
Look at that face. Of course, he survived.
Yeah, exactly. They didn't show him die, but they're still not talking about what happened afterwards. So anyway, it's going to be delving into his early years prior to the ascension to the Jedi High Council. The series promises to shed light on Mace Windu's lesser-known past, including his escape from the underwater prison and intense combat scenes that demonstrate his mastery of the unique lightsaber combat from Vapod. And the story is penned by Mark Bernardin and art by Georges Giantry, known for his work on Buffy Vampire Slayer. And the series is in
and Gambit by John Layman.
Oh,
that's true.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Sorry.
No. We always do.
Yeah.
And that's what this is for, It's just an awesome discussion about comics,
John, don't worry. You're the first creator we've had who stayed for the whole show. So thank you.
Okay, sure.
Everyone else was always like,
we've
had your fill of your nerdy insanity. We're good. We got to go take a nap. I was like, all right.
I like watching this shit, even though I probably won't buy most of it. I like watching it. I like looking at the art.
Totally. So Sam Jackson, who portrayed Mace Windu in the Star Wars prequel trilogy, brought an unmatched charisma to the character, making him a fan favorite. So this comic series aims to enrich the character's backstory, providing insights into his challenges and growth on his path to becoming a key figure in the Jedi Order. So Mace Windu #1 is set to hit comic book stores this February 7th.
Yep.
So tomorrow, offering fans and newcomers alike a chance to explore complexities in the early life of the Jedi Order's most iconic members. And, I just have to say, if you're a Star Wars fan, get these motherfucking Dianagas off this motherfucking Krellian freighter.
Okay,
Oh my
Carrie, I
God.
rescind what I said to you. You can stay. Leo, get out.
Yeah. I second that one.
Yeah. So if you don't know the Dianagas, that's that snake-like creature that
Get
in the garbage
out!
Yeah,
garbage chute.
the trash compactor. Who doesn't know
Yeah.
that?
Always fucking snakes with you. All right, move on to the next one before I strangle you.
Yeah. Oh, this one's me as well. Hold on.
Oh,
Kind of a combo thing.
Carrie, did you do this?
she totally
Yes,
did.
I put them together because they're both Star Wars.
Star Wars stick together, man.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Minimalization.
I appreciate that. So in thrilling news for Star Wars fans and comic book fans alike, Marvel is set to release a new Ahsoka comic book adaptation coming in July. So the eagerly anticipated 8-issue miniseries is going to chronicle the daring escapades of Ahsoka Tano, continuing from the Disney Plus series, helmed by Rodney Barnes, known for his acclaimed work on Philadelphia, and featuring the artistic prowess of Stephen Cummings and Georges Gentry again.
Hey.
Totally. So recognized for their contributions of Wayward and Buffy the Vampire Slayer comics, respectfully, this series is poised to be a remarkable journey through the Star Wars galaxy as we look forward to Ahsoka's ventures post-Empire and her confrontation with Grand Admiral Thrawn. This adaptation promises to deepen the lore of the Star Wars universe with season 2 right around the corner. So it's going to introduce fresh faces, new plots, and so this is going to be concluding. Well, not concluding, but continuing. July.
And it says season 2's right around the corner. I wonder what that means.
Yeah.
I wonder how far that corner is.
Yeah, it's probably pretty far.
I actually the Legos Millennium Falcon with her. She was the last question in the thing. They were just like, what was Anakin's apprentice's name? And God, if I had it, I froze at first, and I was just like, oh my God, I know this. And I had to go through the actress's name, and finally I was like, and the name is Ahsoka Tano, and
I've never, Jar. I need to say it again. I think that is just how I will always measure your joy. I just come back to the table at Terrificon, and you just have this big Lego box triumphantly raised. It was like in those sports movies where they got the trophy. You were like, yeah. I was like, well.
I was a sore winner for sure. I
felt 100%
for that girl I was going up against.
Yeah, I felt so bad.
I believe our guest is also a huge Lego maniac, so you'll have to see if he has the same one.
Not so much.
Oh,
not since I discovered Chinese knockoffs.
Yes.
I was paying $50 for J. Jonah Jameson, and now you can go to eBay and get 10 superheroes for $5.99, and there's also non-Lego sets that are even better. Like you can get Audrey 2 from Little Shop of Horrors.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Go to eBay and search Brick Toy or Block Toy. You can get
write that down.
Lulu.
I'm on that.
Lulu Block Toy. And so I just realized how much Lego charged.
Oh my God, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Well, I priced the Millennium Falcon out, and it was like $850 retail.
Yeah.
Oh my God, really?
Yeah.
Hey, Jar, can you do me a favor? I'm still kind of wondering if I should sell my Millennium Falcon that I have that I've never opened in the box. Let me know how much that would be. Just wondering.
Which one is it?
It's the other Lego one, the thinner one.
Okay. I'll look it up for you.
Yeah.
That's the other thing is the aftermarket has gotten flooded by collectors. They're not worth shit anymore.
Yeah.
I know, but I'm just curious. It's just one of those okay. I mean, I'm still probably not going to do it, but I'm like, just wondering.
John, I'm totally there with you. You know, like I was collecting Star Wars for a little bit, and Hasbro like charges an arm and a leg. But then the knockoffs, like I didn't pick it up yet, but they're like the Jetfire they released was like over $300, and the knockoff was under 100.
Yeah.
Yeah, just crazy.
Yeah.
And even
I feel
NECA
bad, but
figures.
after spending $8,000 or $10,000 on Star Wars stuff, okay,
Yeah.
it's not like you haven't got your pound of flesh.
Totally. Well, you're battling not only the high prices from the manufacturer, but then getting into it, the scalpers too. And like NECA, you can't get a good NECA figure on the shelf anymore.
Well,
just
my biggest problem, even now with toys, because I still collect Masters of the Universe figures and stuff like that. When they put out something new, they don't ship all the same toys to every store, so you have to hunt around. Like some stores only get one of a figure, and like they kind of create this like aftermarket kind of.
And there's no Toys R Us. There's no fucking
right
thing
No
anymore.
baby toys.
All you got is Walmart and Target.
Yeah.
yeah.
It is
And
no
then,
longer
A
the
little
baby toy.
section, but it's not the same as
Oh no, not
as
at
Toys
all.
R Us.
No, we miss you, Jeffrey.
Yep.
We miss you. Is there any more news, Leo?
Yeah, we had one last story for you, Drew.
Yes. Black Panther, everybody. So this is coming out tomorrow. And if you missed beginning of this issue is already sold out. This has not even been in the stores. The demand was so high, it's already sold out. But don't worry, the second cover, the second printing, will be in stores in March, most likely around the time we're going to be getting Ultimate X-Men issue 1. Everybody is super pumped by what Hickman and his collaborators are doing with the Ultimate Universe, and they're just really excited to see what comes next. So the reason we bring up this story is that we revealed in these early pages that we see here, excuse me, thank you, that we see here, we see Moon Knight's campaign, again, to try to take over Africa. We see the new Ultimate Universe version of Wakanda. And in this universe, we see that Black Panther, aka T'Challa, is married to none other than Okoye, the High Mentor of the Dora Milaje, which, if you know your Black Panther, it's essentially his bodyguards. Taking place of characters like Storm, who, as we know at one time in the mainstream Marvel universe, was married to Black Panther. But we already know that also in this new Ultimate Universe, she is not even in any way affiliated with T'Challa. She's actually Killmonger's girlfriend. And they're both freedom fighters who will cross paths. So already you got Brian Hill, who was everybody knows from his work on Blade and Killmonger. And then you got Stefano Caselli, X-Men Red, Avengers. And he also did all the Ultimate Presents artwork for Jonathan Hickman a little while back. You got this bold new take for Black Panther and Wakanda. I'm super pumped to see where this goes. This is going to be available tomorrow, people. And again, if you were smart enough to book it ahead of time, enjoy the read. If not, it'll probably be online. And if you still want a physical copy, wait till March. It'll be there. It'll be sweet. So,
Marvel
yep.
Insider points.
Learn to pre-order with your LCS.
Yeah.
I know this is why you need to have a pull list. I need to reset my pull list.
You do.
Yeah,
They
I just
called
picked
you. They were like, "Come
Can
in."
I say one thing?
Go for it.
Please.
Tomorrow, Suicide, or maybe today, Suicide Squad Kill Arkham Asylum came out today.
Oh, sweet.
The prequel to the Suicide Squad Kills
The Justice League.
League game.
Oh,
Nice.
I'm about to play that, so I didn't even know that was coming out.
Yeah. I wrote the funny thing is, I wrote it like 2 years ago, but they kept delaying the game, so it's finally out.
Mm-hmm.
Did you get to know the story of the game beforehand?
Oh yeah. And
that's
this is a funny thing. I totally fucking Kobayashi Maru'd it. I came in And I'm like, okay, Batman's going to be in the first issue. And they're like, no, Batman's, he you can't use him. And I'm like, yeah, I think I can. I don't think you guys understand flashbacks and like how time works in comics. So I'm going to write it my way. I'm going to give it to you. If you don't like it, I'll completely rewrite it. I'm fine. I know that I'm going against the rules. I'm just going to do what I want to do and show you I can. I gave it to them. They're like, you're right. And after that, they trusted me with everything.
That's
awesome.
fantastic.
Yeah.
I'm definitely gonna have to pick that up. Thanks for
kind of jealous of the early checking out the game and stuff. God damn it!
Yeah.
It's
the nerd in me is like, damn you.
But oh man, so that's the news, everybody. So that's everything because I tell you, everybody, I check the news every day. There was nothing anywhere else, or at least nothing that was worth us covering.
And we mentioned earlier in the show, Batman 142 sold out as well.
Right.
And that's Joker Year One starts today. Yeah. Quick thing, John, before we wrap things up, you made a couple Star Trek references tonight. I'm guessing you're a big Star Trek.
Sure.
Oh yeah.
There you go.
I love Star Trek.
Nice.
What's your favorite series?
Yeah.
Oh, Deep Space Nine. That goes without saying. That's the only right answer.
What do you think of the new stuff, Discovery and
Discovery lost me when they had like a hugging montage that lasted 20 minutes. But I do love Strange New Worlds and I love Lower Decks. But yeah, Discovery got too soft for me.
Discovery, I still followed all the way through, but them going far into the future and you see the destruction of the Federation and everything is it just doesn't seem right.
I don't think they've ever known what they were doing. They've had good moments, they've had good seasons. I like their characters, but I don't think they know what the fuck they're doing.
Yeah, Strange New Worlds.
Felt too much like a romance to me.
Yeah, and I Picard season 3 was pure.
Yeah,
check that into my veins. That was.
I got to go back and watch
every fucking nerd needed.
Jar Jar, you haven't seen Picard season 3?
No, I haven't seen Picard season 1.
Oh, so I watched season 1 and it was like I wasn't really hooked on it, and then I skipped season 2.
Somebody told me watching season 1 was like watching paint dry, and I was just like, "Oh,
I'd say that about season 2, but season 3 is crack for Next Generation fans. I mean, it's pure fan service. I mean, it's the team back together and in the best way.
Totally,
that's cool.
Yeah, wow. I went through and when I heard how good season 3 was, I just went and binged the whole thing.
Leo, what's the best series?
I'm always a next gen guy. I mean,
a fair answer. The correct answer is Deep Space Nine.
I know.
I don't disrespect you for that.
Yeah, I didn't watch all of Deep Space Nine.
My dad was a very big Next Generation guy, and when when Deep Space Nine came on, we started watching it, and he's just like, "That's not my captain," blah blah blah. And I was just since he wasn't watching it, I didn't get to watch it.
Well, the other thing is, it doesn't kick in until season 3, and it was the first. It was sequential in a way that the others were, adventure week to week, and it followed, but this was one you had to follow week to week, and it's also just dark as hell. It's got a sad ending. Oh, it's fantastic.
I was working retail most of the 90s, so like there's a lot of TV I missed in the 90s. So it was like
that's why they have reruns, buddy.
I know.
Mm-hmm.
Luther.
Yeah, Luther. Yeah.
Luther. Yep.
I just love the queue.
Oh yeah.
All right. You guys want to call it?
Yep, we'll wrap things up. You know what? Where's the
Oh,
magic?
don't forget
button
to
here?
tell them about the recording thing.
Yes. So John, actually, we can tell them once we hit end stream. So
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right,
we'll-
so let's sign
we'll
off
wrap-
then.
Yeah, we'll wrap things up. I want to thank everybody for watching this fine evening. For me, you know how to find me. Just Google me. But also check the show notes up above or down below, depending on where you're watching or listening to us, for all the information about our awesome hosts here and our amazing guests as well. A lot of information there. Head on over to our YouTube channel. We got a lot of bonus content there. And John, where do you like people interacting with you on social media?
I'm not on social media.
Okay.
Good for you.
All right, good stuff. Good talk.
Then I shouldn't have tagged you in Twitter.
Yeah, I'm on Twitter, but all I do is follow K-pop bands.
Yeah, there you go. I'm on. I just joined Blue Sky. That seems to be pretty good.
I'll take your word for it.
Yeah.
It's like, sure.
Carrie.
Hey, everybody. When I am not hanging out with these lovely gents, I am over on the Owlite Network, which is also part of the Dorkening Network. And we do shows pretty much every Sunday, Monday, and Thursday. I'm not sure what we have coming up next, but just go over to Carrie Sanders on Facebook. If you see a little crow as the avatar, that is me. All of my links are up and down and all over the place there. And you can figure out what shows we have going on. So follow me on Splash Pages, follow me on Owlite, and let's see where you should follow Jar Jar.
All right, we got it right this time. I'm Jeremy Courtney on Facebook. Check me out there. Check out the Comic Book Lovers Buy, Sell, and Trade, which has 24,000 members, where you can buy, sell, and trade all your dorky stuff. The Re-Education of Nancy Ann Ritter. I think a new episode is to come out this weekend. I'm not positive on that.
Nice.
If it does, enjoy it.
We're both like, we have podcasts, no idea.
I'm just waiting for people to stop talking so I can say goodbye. Goodbye.
Oh, can I say one more thing?
Yeah,
Oh,
totally.
absolutely.
Go
I
for it.
am going to be at Chennai Comic Con on, I think, the 16th, or like the 17th or 18th in Chennai, India. So I'll see you all soon.
Where's
Nice.
the best place you've traveled to, John?
An unfair question. I love it all.
Boom.
That's so cool.
That's the right answer.
That is the right answer.
Yeah. Oh,
just
Leo,
say,
there
"Come
was one
here."
thing. Leo, there was one thing I wanted to say. So back to me for briefly. Everybody, thank you so much for joining us on the show. We're so glad that we were able to get John on here. That's my social underneath. You can find me on Facebook. I'm Drew Malo, Ghostbuster Man 1984, because I still can't switch that because I don't care enough. There's a lot going on there. So if I don't respond to you, I swear I'll get to it within this millennium. That being said, we also have another great guest next week. We have the awesome, wonderful, iconic creator, Mark Waid, is going to be joining us. We're going to be talking about Daredevil, World's Finest, just a slew of amazing things. And yes, Kingdom Come will be there. Of course there will be. But there's a lot going on there. So please, if you really love what you saw here, there is so much more coming. So thank you for joining us and stay tuned. Yeah.
Awesome. With that, we'll catch you later.
Have a good
Bye.
night.
All right. Bye, everyone.